shit, it's not working.
Guys, listen, this is hard work, so you've got to hold it together. Don't go see this play!
Protesters all played by Lexington parents.
Okay.
It was actually our collective idea to do the play based on Neutral Milk Hotel and this album specifically.
It came out of a discussion that Amanda and I had, and we were talking about, we've been talking for years about doing a project together. And so actually we're sort of about to give up and say, well, I guess we'll wait for some other opportunity. And then I think, I don't know if Amanda said it to me, I said, well, what if maybe we do a workshop or something.
Why did I decide to come back to LHS? I have been trying to get back to Bogart since high school, and in fact I've been coming back to this auditorium pretty much at least once a year since I left high school to either see a production or help with a production or just visit and torment Bogart. But when something is such a huge part of your development, like the drama department was when I was here, I just find it really hard to let go of and not stay involved in, because it was such a huge part of making me who I was artistically. After having worked in a professional theater a couple years ago and doing a show from scratch at the American Repertory Theater that I thought was going to be a lot like this process, but ended up being very different, I had a big hole in myself and that I needed to fix, and I knew that the only way to heal my wounded theatrical self was to do a project that I fundamentally knew would be amazing, and this is it. So we decided to just try and do a project on our own, without all of the bureaucracy and the parameters, where we can be as creative as we want to be, we can do whatever we want, we don't have to worry too much about budgets and politics. And the thing that I love most about working with these kids in the show is that they're all just here because they want to be here. They just love theater, and you can see it in the way they work. They're just passionate about making this show great. It's really nice to be surrounded by people who are just in love with making art. Well, I spent a lot of my time in high school on this stage and in these surrounding rooms. I spent a lot of time alone. I was like this really weird kid who I didn't really have a clique of friends, and I had all my acquaintances, and I wasn't, like a loser. But I found it really hard to connect with people. And, I would eat my lunch alone, and I would spend a lot of my free time alone. And I think one of the things that I loved the most about the drama department, it was this very concrete connection that you make with people, and even if it was just for the course of the performance, the process, you bonded with and trusted those people. And like we just did this exercise today where you're watching people who aren't even necessarily friends, might not necessarily even talk to each other after this show, or like crying and holding each other and communicating with each other without words, and doing all these things that transcend the kind of bullshit high school social patterns. So I think Bogart is unlike any other sort of more superficial high school drama teacher. First of all, because he treats the students like adults. And so often you just see teachers patronizing their students. And the other thing is that he's just not afraid. He's not afraid to do strange stuff and take risks. He's been here for however many years, and there's always letters flooding in about how dare you put that stuff on stage, parents complaining constantly. I think that that's fantastic. I think if a few years were to go by and Bogart weren't to get, a bunch of hate mail from the Lexington parents, he'd be going down the wrong path.